Young Philly is a well-known YouTuber and rapper, but today he stands trial under his real name, Andres Felipe Valencia Barrientos.
Young Philly's trial has started and there is some bizarre stuff to come out in day one and a lot is happening here. I asked him to order me a small fries but he refused. There is so much to go through in this case and this is just day one.
Choking her, slapping her, biting her neck, face and breasts so hard it broke skin and the woman had to get a tetanus shot.
Prosecutors allege what was originally consensual sexual activity turned violent back at his city hotel room. The woman bitten several times. At one stage, the rapper's accused of putting his hands around her neck, impeding her breathing. Andres Barrientos is accused of 10 charges in 9 years at 4 and 6. Hear what the complainant has to say about what happened that night.
Already in Australia, they're saying this YouTuber is about to find out we don't take kindly to performers coming here and abusing and assaulting their fans. Allegedly, YouTuber Young Philly violently sexually a young fan. The court hears a young fan. So it says Young Philly, the 30-year-old, is on trial in the district court after being accused of sexually assaulting a 20-year-old woman. The prosecutor, Danielle Clark, said the woman was looking forward to seeing his performance at Bar 1 in Hillary's Boat Harbour with her cousin. We obviously have that footage, the last footage of Young Philly before this all come down on him, where he's in Bar 1 nightclub talking about how drunk he is, and now we're getting more details about what exactly happened after.
Oh, but look, this is how you know I'm drunk. I'm from baseball.
The prosecutor actually said she recorded a video saying she loved Young Philly and wanted him to be her future husband. The woman wore her lucky white top and the prosecutor said it turned out to be anything but lucky for the alleged victim. So we're actually seeing a similar sort of situation with a Michael Ward, where there's prior note about a celebrity being there and them at first wanting to meet them and being excited for this situation. "You're coming home with me" is the headline. So the woman was allowed into the club's VIP lounge where the free drinks were available, and she reportedly was approached by Young Philly, who seemed interested in her. Ms. Clark said the rapper told her, "You're coming home with me tonight," and the woman believed that she was actually going to a party. There was no party, of course. They had some drinks and they ended up in Young Philly's hotel room, and it says now soon after they arrived at the hotel, Young Philly's bodyguard took her phone away from her. Inside the hotel room, the woman had consensual sex with him, but the prosecutor said the rapper became more aggressive, biting her neck, right cheek and her breast. The alleged victim had told him to stop, but he continued. The court had heard. Now this is where awareness comes into the situation. Of course you could have consensual intercourse with them, but they can reject consent at any time. So if they tell you to stop, you have to, and the moment you continue, that is considered rape from there. Ms. Clark told the jury he held his hand tightly around her neck for a few seconds and then slapped her and told her to say derogatory things. In two ways now, it's been very similar to the Michael Ward case. You have a fan there that they've decided to get with, which is one thing. And also the second thing, it started off consensual, but the woman says that things obviously turned darker later on. So it goes on to say the woman refused to say the things that Young Philly wanted her to say. It was just talk like, say your Young Philly's dirty, or that she didn't want to say stuff like that. Then they say that Young Philly allegedly anally awed her. After the alleged art, she was given back her phone and overheard Young Philly saying to his bodyguard that she wasn't good in bed. Now, I don't like that this was being put in here because this gives a reason a little bit for the woman to have anger already against Young Philly in a different way. But the court heard the alleged victim took photos of her injuries and reported it to the police the next day. And if these injury photos do come out, I will post them online to see how excessive they are and what actually happened. And Young Philly is charged with 6 counts of sexual penetration without consent, 3 counts of assault, causing bodily harm, and 1 count of impeding someone's normal breathing. A little bit hard to break down and know where things turn and what was said, and if Young Philly knew in cases like this. It says as well, he told her, "You're coming home with me," put his hand down the back of her pants. The pair left the venue at 3 AM with the rapper's all-male entourage. The woman believed she was being taken to an after party, instead went to Young Philly's hotel room. One of his minders took her phone and the performer led her to room 217. During the intercourse, Young Philly allegedly bit the woman's neck and breast and the bites hurt. The woman said out and asked the accused to be gentle. It's bizarre. It says young Philly then asked the woman multiple times before ordering himself a Wagyu burger via room service. So trying to act that he was so numb to what he had done, he just ordered himself a burger. But that also, in the defense, is this guy didn't think he had done anything wrong. He thought he just slept with a woman and was just going about his evening eating straight after. One thing that was a little bit odd, as she's leaving at first, she overhears young Philly basically saying that she's not good in bed. Then apparently young Philly grabbed her breast as she was leaving and said to the mind of the security, how good are her boobs? They emphasise a lot how the court was told the alleged victim realised she was the only female in the group when they're inside the carnival car that took them back to the hotel. She was thinking there is some sort of after party, keeps getting mentioned. From a legal aspect, this is going to deflect the point being made by young Philly's team of saying, why did you go back with him then? I think in this situation, we have two completely different mindsets. We have the victim who's saying she wants young Philly to be her future husband and being treated well by him. And then we have young Philly just seeing it like as a groupie, bragging to his security, look what I just did. It's two completely different mindsets going into this situation, which has caused this massive friction to begin with. So the alleged victim, who is now 21, so around the time of the offense, she would have been around 19 and young Philly would have been around 28. So it's a big age gap here, but obviously that is not the problem in the case. It says the alleged victim, who's now 21, told the court via video link from another room that young Philly was her idol at the time and she didn't know his real name. She described how she saw him on a night, smiling with vampire looking teeth and handing out 3 tequila shots in the VIP area. So her being 19 at the time, this is a fresh young clubber who thinks she wants to marry this celebrity and be with him forever, and she's got into a situation that she didn't like or feel comfortable with in the end in the hotel. But was it consensual was the main thing to find out here, and was it actually enough for the woman to have made it clear during the intercourse that she wanted this to stop? So we don't know the birthdays of the victim. From late September 2024 to mid-July 2026 is roughly 1 year 10 months. If she's 21 now, she would have been maybe 19 or even 20 at the time. Obviously the age is not of concern here, it was just being emphasized in court. The woman actually told the court she had 4 to 6 shots during the night and knew what she was doing. She said that while she was still at the venue, young Philly put his hands down her pants and she told him that she's not like that. Like I said earlier, two different mindsets. Young Philly just trying to get with her on the night and she trying to have some self-respect in the situation. One thing I will say, this is a young fan of young Phillies, a young fan. She's probably just fresh out of school and college, gone clubbing a few times, not really been with many partners, and young Philly has gone into intercourse with her in a brutal, rough way, and that's why things have got out of hand. What she's picturing in her mind of a celebrity, it's not gone the way that she thought it would, her dream fantasy. In terms of people thinking that is wrong because she's a lot younger than him, we still have to determine whether there was a clear moment where she's saying she made it clear to him she wanted to stop and he had refused, and that's when it becomes an actual crime. Young Philly actually used her age against her in a moment at the club. He puts her hands down her pants. She said she's not like that, and he said it really shows your age, was the rapper's response. The woman's basically saying they had consensual sex, but in a hotel he started throwing me around before biting her and putting his hand around her neck. She described the biting as very hard, and she told him that he was hurting her. She told the court the bite on her breast stroke skin later had to get a shot at the hospital for. What I do need to hear in a case like this, obviously this is just day one right now, there's apparently CCTV and more stuff to come, this is a 2-week case. I want to hear clearly, I told him stop, get off me, and he continued. It's just each time I said anything he would hurt me more. Prosecutors say it was at that point that the woman started to fear for her safety, that the consent was withdrawn, and she didn't know how to get herself out of a situation and decided to do what the accused wanted. So she carried on with this. I kept squirming and saying that you're hurting me. I'm surprised he didn't break more skin. He was choking me. The rapper placed his hand around her neck. It was hard to breathe. It was all happening really fast. The woman asked him to order her small fries, but he refused. One thing I really want to know is that little part there that I just said caught my attention more than anything. She says that the woman asked him to order her small fries, but he refused. Was this after the intercourse? So after, that is very important, because after that just happened to you, you're going to ask someone to order you a fries and get on with things. Surely you'd be freaking out. He is treating her really badly. He got himself a burger, but just didn't want to get her anything. Apparently he refused to get her any fries. I'm going to look through more court documents and actually find out if that was before or after. Was it when she got to the hotel room, she said, can you get me some fries? I'm hungry. Or was it they had intercourse and then after she says, can you get me some fries? And a small fries, a young Philly literally says no. He disrespected this woman a lot in other ways, saying she's bad in bed in front of her. There's lots of reasons for this woman not to like young Philly. One thing I will say as well, women do not behave normal sometimes when they believe this happened to them. They're in complete shock at first. So sometimes they do things that look bad in court, like message them after or do certain things. It doesn't always mean that they weren't sexually assaulted. They're just in complete shock after, and at first are in denial and don't want to believe that happened to them. The woman told the court that she covered her face, but he got her hands and pinned them down before hitting her in her face again. He was strong, she said. After the bodyguard gave her phone back, she went to her cousin's home, messaging her that she needed an ice pack. Her face had been badly beaten and it was sore, the woman told the court. The court was shown the injuries that young Philly allegedly inflicted, including bruising around the neck area. I knew I was sexually assaulted and he awed me, she told the court, saying that she did not know what to do about it. She messaged young Philly using Instagram, saying she thought she had left her car keys at the room, asking him to let her know if he found them. She told the court she didn't actually have her car keys with her on the night. She had messaged him so to be able to see what he did to her, but there was no response. One thing I will say, if there's injuries that come out of the victim here, or the alleged victim, and she's beaten black and blue and it looks unreasonable, there's marks over her face like they're suggesting, as they're saying they've got photos of her injuries that have been put in court, if they're released to the public and there's CCTV and other stuff, and it actually gets a little bit darker where people can see these injuries, it will sway people's opinion a lot on this. If it's unreasonable, like she's got marks all over her face and her body that are just out of control, this is the first night they slept together, but obviously there's more that's going to come out as we go. Young Philly already seen was definitely drunk on that night, and she's claiming she was more with it than him despite having numerous shots, and it's up to his defense now to put across his side and counter everything that they said, saying it's complete nonsense, and it'll be interesting to see how Young Philly's lawyer responds. Yes, Young Philly is accused of rape, but one thing we have to remember is his acts of violence he's been accused of as well, and if there's clear injuries that go in alliance with that, one thing we hope for Young Philly is that he gets a fair trial in all of this. There's a lot more to come out. I cannot make an opinion on what I think right now. It's up to the jurors to decide, but he's in a foreign country. This is a girl 9-10 years younger than him. It's going to seem very innocent to the court. How the jurors view this is going to be everything. Young Philly's not from there. They're going to think this girl was vulnerable. She looked up to him. He was a celebrity. They're going to paint a very dark picture, and it's very important for his lawyers. He's got the best lawyers possible over there to paint a picture of clear. Wasn't aware that she was withdrawing her consent at any time. This case is meant to last anything from 10 days to up to 2 weeks. I'm not sure how much more can come out and what's going to be released. There's apparent CCTV and other stuff that's going to go with this, but right now that is the first thing we've seen. Today there is a little bit of a testimonial from the victim as well, where she's going to be maybe cross-examined like in the Michael Ward case. So as I was making this video towards the end, I was about to finish, but more updates from the trial come out and the no's are now coming in, which is a lot worse for Young Philly. Now this woman is claiming that numerous times she said no. Apparently she decided to do what he wanted in hopes she could leave. Despite the victim saying no, Young Philly allegedly continued to assault the woman, who eventually was able to leave the hotel later that morning. They say the victim, who's not going to be named for legal reasons, told the court they were inside the hotel room together. He became more aggressive. She allegedly said no, but the British rapper told her to stop saying no and bit her harder, she told the court. So yeah, at first she was basically saying she went along with this, but as she's being cross-examined now, she is saying at some points during the intercourse she told him no and he carried on. The prosecution says the rapper became violent, alleging he bit her neck and breast and restricted her breathing and told her to stop talking and slapping her without warning, leaving her with bruising and an open wound. The court was told she asked him to stop and he continued to violate her. Prosecutors say she tried to disassociate until he stopped. Something that's going to play a major factor, like I said earlier, is the pictures and stuff being released of that nature, because people should obviously not be left with open wounds and a damaged face after intercourse the way they describe it. One thing I'm always going to do in these situations is be non-biased. I'm not a supporter or fan of Young Philly, and I do not want to see an innocent man to go to prison for something he has not done, but we have to humanize the victim here and say, look, she liked him, there was an initial attraction, she went back, but the stuff that she was subject to in that hotel room, at some point she said no and he refused to stop. Regardless of how we look at it, if that is proven beyond reasonable doubt, then that is clear rape, and Young Philly deserves everything that's happening to him. But we haven't even heard Young Philly's side to this story. His lawyers put aside some doubt to that. That's their job. He's pleaded not guilty to 10 offences. Of course, they are including 6 counts of sexual penetration without consent, 3 counts of assault, and 1 of choking. Remember, I'm covering this piece by piece. It's in Australia. There is a little bit of a time zone difference, but that changes a lot on how I look at this. Now, if she is claiming that she said no numerous times when it was happening, it's a completely different outlook on how this will be going forward. forward. It's not completely done yet. In the next 2 weeks, we're going to have an outcome of what's going to happen with young Philly's future. He recently spoke out about him having a test that he's going to have to battle through God, and he's obviously seeked God through these tough times that he's been through, in his opinion, where he thinks he's innocent.
Yeah, I hope everyone's well. I ain't showing my face on here in a minute. Raw! I just come out the steam room. See what the steam does? Really deep in you. See, if God tested you, if God is putting you for a test, you know he loves you. Like, God loves you regardless. But you see, if he's testing you, just know he loves you. So yeah, man, embrace them tests. Pray to God to give you understanding why you have those tests. I woke up on a righteous one today. That's how I'm feeling. I highly recommend everyone cops a little steam room tent, whatever it's called. Mine's here. Proper, nice, sweet. Now I've been getting the urge to just turn on the stream. I'm so angry! You know that? I'm trying to not be angry.
According to the Australian news, there's numerous witnesses that are going to be involved as well. Maybe young Philly's bodyguard could be on his side, and some friends of the victim as well.
The woman will be first of more than a dozen state witnesses. The 30-year-old has pleaded not guilty to all 10 charges. We'll have more updates from the trial here.
I'm interested to see where the bodyguard comes into this and what he thinks, because Miss Clark alleged young Philly's bodyguard took the victim's phone and asked her to unlock it, then refused to hand it back to her when she asked. But the court was told the bodyguard later sent a text message to the woman's cousin on her behalf, asking if she was okay and if she needed an Uber. So it'd be interesting to see his take on what happened. I'll keep you guys posted on what the witnesses say and the outcome of this trial.